So throughout the show, let me just tell you my experience of watching the show. Because I watch the show later than everybody else does. I'm sitting
on purpose,
there
on purpose, by the way, on purpose. Not that you can't watch it with everybody else. You just choose to not watch it with everybody else.
I'm a star. That's why. Listen, I watch it later. I watch it when it's supposed to air on the West Coast. I'm sorry, y'all. And I'm like, damn, Seth really wants to do this open challenge, and he's really kind of like talking up the fans, and the fans are fucking with it for a weak crowd on Raw, for a good show, which I thought was a good show. They really fucked with 3 things on this show, and Seth Rollins was one of them, and they really enjoyed his whole promo. Seth comes out first before the 9 o'clock hour. He gets interrupted and he leaves, and I said, okay, so he might still be a heel because he didn't stand up with the OC there, so that's cool. He has no affiliation with either. Then he comes back out at the end of the show, and I'm like, damn, he's really like baby facing it up right now. I'm like, did something happen between last week and this week? Because he totally kind of like goaded Bobby Lashley into this title. He won the title off for him, and he kind of like he bullshitted his way to the title.
Hey, man, and then this was supposed to be, if there was supposed to be a moment for Ali, this is
y'all don't like him anyway. That's my thing.
Like, no, I don't. I've we had our discussion in terms of like, I was like, is Ali supposed to be here? Like, really? Like, but he doing his thing. He got a little, background dancer braids and all this other shit like that.
Oh my God.
he just doing, living in an Ali world, doing Ali things, and like, hey, I'm the protagonist in my anime, and I'm, I want to fight you next, and and gets beat up by Bobby, of course.
So he gets beat up by Bobby, and then Bobby comes out, and I'm like, okay, Bobby's a lot. Okay. Then I notice, it's the double turn. The double turn is happening now. Bobby's frustrated. It seems to me, let's just get to that part now, because it seems to me, we talked about it earlier, but it's like there's a double turn here. So Seth is now looking like he's a tweener or a babyface, which they've wanted to cheer him. Like, let's just be clear. They've been wanting to cheer him for months now. Yes. They have. Even in the Riddle feud, they were clearly giving him babyface reactions. They weren't booing him when he was beating the shit out of Riddle. It's the song, it's the swag, it's the matches. It's impossible to boo Seth Rollins right now. My thing is right now, how do you bring back Cody? Because he's definitely not going to be a heel when he comes back. That's my issue right now with him turning face.
I feel like we're not all the way face yet, so I'm gonna let it play out if he is indeed a face. But I feel like we're not all the way there yet, so I'm gonna put the lipo on that one.
Okay. So we get Seth gets put through a table. The match never happened. The open challenge never happens because Bobby gets escorted out. I thought, good moment. Match never started. He was wilding. They're not gonna allow the match to happen. Austin Theory comes out, and at that point, I'm on the edge of my seat. I said, because here's my thing: I still win. Regardless of what happens here, I still win. If he beats Seth for the U.S. title, that's fine. You've cashed in on a mid-card title you've already had before, and it's also Triple H saying, let's just end this shit. We can't book around it. None of it's going to be believable. Fuck it. If he loses the cash in, I still win because the Money in the Bank is not in play anymore. He goes against Seth. Bobby comes back and beats his ass again. You think it's going to be a count out. He gets back in the ring, gets the stomp, and loses his cash in. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't think this is worse than Damian Sandow's. I just don't. I really don't think it's worse than that one.
Okay.
I still win. Regardless of what you say, I still win.
Do you have any thoughts on this before I say anything?
Asia, we still win. We still win.
This was one 20-minute roller coaster ride, and I'm glad this whole Money in the Bank theory thing is over because no one was going to take him seriously if he cashed in on Roman Reigns. No one. Everyone was going to expect him to lose. So for this to happen, for him to... It was just hilarious to see all of it play out.
Hey, we can't let Meelz talk because he's going to say something that's not going to matter.
I'm definitely going to say something different.
Y'all never wanted him to have it in the first place.
Okay.
Why are you mad now? You never you were mad when it happened in July. Yep. You were mad when it continued. We had a cool, nice moment at Clash. We had a cool kind of moment that people criticized at SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, yeah.
You never wanted him to win
Got
it.
punched in the face at Clash at the Castle. Yes, he got punched in the face at Clash at the Castle, of course.
We said it on this very show.
Showed
There's
up on
no
NXT.
fucking way.
Try to do something there. It turned around.
I think that was H saying, "Does this look good?" He was like, "This doesn't look good either." They're whipping ass.
I don't know about that.
Apparently,
the European guys aren't happy.
They had basically made him such a non-factor, and we brought it up. He didn't even show up on TV for a couple weeks. We never wanted this to be. We never wanted this to be. I'm gonna let you talk, Meelz. You can't interrupt me.
All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna let you talk. You keep trying to interrupt me, and it's gonna make me talk more.
All right,
you never wanted him to have it. Why are you mad he doesn't have it? The Money in the Bank is, to me, a booking. It's a booking handcuff, because you have to have this moment happen, and if it doesn't happen, people are going to criticize you, or they're going to criticize you when it does happen. If the women don't have their briefcase and they haven't had it for 3-4 months now, why the fuck do the men still have it? This needs to be off the table. Everyone needs to have an even playing field. Theory does not need to have a top playing field because he's not getting reactions. People don't necessarily care about him. If he beat Roman for the title, that would be a Vince level overreaction, and I think people would have hated that. I kind of get he cashed in on the mid-card title, but at the end of the day, if it gets it off of him, who gives a fuck? Who cares? Because at the end of the day, the briefcase is gone. We're back to tier 1. We're good.
Can I? All right, so here's the thing. Here's what you don't expect. I get 100% the logic behind all of this. I understand it. I've accepted it even to an extent because it happened and I can't change that it happened. I'm not outraged. I don't feel any strong ways about Theory just in general. Like the mere fact that it happened to him is unfortunate, but he is 24 years old. He will be fine. If he shows up as Happy Corbin or shows up as Damian Mizdow, it'll be because something else went wrong in his career and not this. I think in general, with the Money in the Bank briefcase, I'll tell you the wrong things and right things, the things I didn't like and the things I did like.
Are you talking about for the briefcase in general, or just this situation?
Well, this situation. The situation I didn't like, that he cashed in on a title he had already won before, essentially, and it wasn't the World Championship. Would he have lost if he cashed on the World Championship? Absolutely. Roman rolls deep. Absolutely. He would have got a spinning solo into the dirt. But I think I might have preferred even the logic of him trying and creating that villain arc than him underachieving and failing in that way immensely. I think over the last number of months, I've said it on this show, he showed he's had a lot of potential. He's gotten very much, he's gotten less annoying with the camera thing. Seems like he's speaking, a lot more with like force and vigor and all this other stuff like that. He's definitely speaking and, he's doing the best that he can with what he got. But to me, I think all of this they could have done another plan to get rid of this. However, I understand why this happened, because the same people who put him in power is not here anymore. Mm-hmm. During any regime change, it's just gonna happen. This wasn't the direct. Someone gets promoted to VP of something, the actual director moves out the way. Then it was like, I don't really want you on my shit. I really don't want you here. So I completely understand why it happened. Triple H has no plans for Theory being the Money in the Bank holder. Not under his watch. There's nothing. It's not the best for him. He probably wouldn't have done it if he started work 3 weeks earlier. He probably wouldn't have done it. So I get all of that. I think personally, very kind of like stupid to do all of that, and this is the result. But you wanted to blow up the briefcase. I still would have blown it up on Roman. I would have had him attempt to cash in on Roman and him get his absolute ass kicked, and that be the end of that, just to save face of this
There's
man.
there's
Isn't
no
wait,
non
wait,
there's
let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish.
there is no non-embarrassing way to finish this for him
I
if he loses.
I do
listen.
I
Go
do
ahead.
have a question. Would you rather have Derry defended the Money in the Bank briefcase
We
and
could
Vince
have done that
lost it?
too, because they did it with Otis, and it
Uh,
was the right decision. And they did it with Otis because they should have never put it on Otis. They should have never put it on that motherfucker. But they did it anyway, and then they had to switch it. They could have very well. There is still. They had 7 more months with the case. They could have very well gave it to another person and had them use it down the line. I don't know how long this Roman Reigns title thing is gonna be.
It must be a long time if they're
It
doing
must be
this.
a long fucking time if they're doing this, because they hit the we don't even want doubt looming over our WrestleMania main event. I don't want The Rock to think he's gonna get cashed in. I don't want Roman to think he's gonna get cashed in. I don't want any doubt looming. Period. So we need to blow this shit up. I think he could have just lost it to Roman. Lose it on Christmas. Something stupid. Lose the briefcase just in general. Have someone else take it off of him. Have Seth take it off of him. Who knows?
I floated that idea. If you remember on the show, I floated that idea that Seth should take it off of him, and they went the other way. But as you said, and succinctly, by the way,
Thank
the
you.
script has to change. The script has to change. Vince
It
is
did
not
just
here
change.
anymore, and I feel like, and I've said this too on the show, I feel like H would have never booked this. He would have never booked Theory to have the briefcase. I don't think he would have had it in play for this long, and he needed to change. And I know that the way that they got there was ridiculous. Is probably the most ridiculous thing on the show. I absolutely agree. But do I give a fuck? Absolutely not. He shouldn't have had it. He work for it. You need to work for it.
Let me ask you both a question. If Vince was still here, does Theory win the world championship?
Absolutely. Without you even finishing the sentence, he would have won the world championship, and we would have hated it.
it would have been some convoluted way of like somebody attacking Roman, probably Bobby, probably someone on that SmackDown roster attacking him, and then Theory just comes out and just cashes.
Mm-hmm. It would have happened, Meelz. You know it would have happened because that was his project. And the thing is, if it didn't happen on Roman, he would have did it to Cody. He would have did it to Seth or someone who we wanted to see win the title. Exactly. Like it would have been somebody that we would not have wanted to see that happen to. And one thing I will say, hate it or love it, the course corrections on these shows they've been sweeping, and they have been very large, and we've seen it with certain talent. We saw it with the 24/7 title this week. There's been a lot of shit that's going on that Triple H is like, I'm not doing that no more. And I got to respect it. I got to respect it.